time for a little movement. I'm just gonna start by settling on my behind. And then we'll work through a little locomotion. Start moving through my hips, pushing one foot forward, one foot back. And get that into my waist, my arms. Maybe reach across, get a little deeper twist. Next time I come across to the right, I'm gonna drop my back arm and move a little deeper into that twist. Moving through my head, through my eyes. Deep breath in and out. And we'll give it a couple sways side to side. And then we'll twist left. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, deepen the twist. One more breath in. And as we breathe out, we'll come back to center for a couple more wiggles. Then we're just going to get our feet in the picture and pumpkin. So we'll just start nice and easy, hands and wrists. Feet and wrists, and we'll point and flex. And Jill, if you watch this, this is what I did to one of those sweatshirts. And then we'll make big circles out. And in. Okay, I'll go in for a bit more of a stretch. I'm going to move into that figure 4 position. Pushing my foot in next to my inner thigh. And we'll start with lengthening. We're going to come down towards that extended leg first. And of course you can soften the foot if you'd like less of a stretch in the back of the leg. And if you'd like a little more, flex your toes in towards your shins. Up. I'm just going to turn my torso towards my bent knee and lean down. And as you feel that pull on the inner thigh, feel free to push the sole of your foot into that tight muscle. And then we can work ourselves back upright. Bring those legs out and try and find a place that feels centered on our hips. And we're just going to gently pulse back and forth. I'm not trying to go super deeply. Feel free to rub those tight legs if you want. And then we'll pull the opposite leg into that figure 4 stretch. And we'll glide down that extended leg. Sometimes I like to take advantage of gravity and move through my head while the weight is not all on my neck. I'm going to take a moment to deepen by flexing my toes in. Come back up. And then turn towards that bent knee. Push Pushing our foot into the inner thigh. And walk ourselves back up. And we can take a moment just to ripple windshield wiper. Try and move all the way up into the hips. And shake things back out. Okay. I am going to slide my hands back, bending into the elbows so that I can kind of lean into it. And right now I'm just pushing my hips forward. Even if they don't move, I'm making that forward motion. If you want to, you can wiggle through the legs. We're trying to loosen up the space on the top of the hips and the base of the spine where the hips and spine connect. And then I want to anchor down into my hips like they're heavy, heavy, heavy. And I'm just going to twist from the waist, working through shoulders, dropping one shoulder back and then the other. You can let your head and neck get into that motion. And I'm going to let my legs turn, same direction as my head. So we're almost lifting that butt cheek off the floor, stretching a little further into the front of the hip. Back to center, just a little more. Take the weight off your wrist for a moment because we're going to do one more thing. So we're just going to inhale and bridge our chest up. We'll inhale and arch. Feel free to straighten into your arms a little more to get a little more lift. Let your head fall back if your neck will let you. And I'm just going to gently sway. Mostly it's through the shoulders. You'll see my chin moving, but I'm trying to keep my head in line with my neck. And back. Exhaling, we'll bring our chin back forward. And walk ourselves back off our hands. Give them a moment of grace. Okay, I'm going to walk back up to an easy cross-legged position. Fix my pants. Okay, we're going to move through seated crescent. We did it in my other video. We'll do it again. Okay, let's start on the right side. I'll inhale and come up. Exhale and anchor into the hip. Reach up through the ribs, shoulders, hands. You can bring your hand to the floor as a kickstand. Today I'm going to bring my hand across to the opposite knee because it pulls that shoulder down and forward. And you might feel like, oh, I can't lean quite as far, but feel that in that space between the ribs and hips. Get a little extra lift into your arm. And let it just drape down. You can even use it to support your head if you want. And then I'm going to roll that shoulder back, elbow back, palm up and press. As I slowly press my way back upright. Exhale, we can come into that cross chest stretch with our arms, or if I'm sitting cross-legged, I like to drape my arm against that opposite thigh. So we'll either hug in tighter or we'll lean down and away. And then we can come up. Release the arms, and we'll open all the way out and back, and then forward. Feel free to bring your hands together or even let them cross for more openness between the shoulders, and we're just going to switch which arm is on top. That time it was my left. And this time we'll exhale and bring our hands back the floor. Okay, crescent on the left. We'll inhale. Come up. Again, you can be here. I'm choosing here today. And lean across. Extra lift. And then we'll roll the shoulder back, elbow back, palm up. And press back upright. And we'll exhale as we float that arm down and either hug it in or drape it on the thigh. And then we'll deepen into that stretch. One more breath in. And then we'll come back out of it. And then we're just going to roll the shoulders back. Okay, so a lot of what I wanted to do here, I wanted to do on our backs on the floor because we have furniture. So wherever you are, you can use couch, ottoman, edge of your bed. So we'll all take a moment, find our new place to be. That might work, we'll find out in a minute. Move it, move it. So, I am just going to put my feet and calves up on whatever surface I can find here. And as always, we're going to give ourselves a moment just to get our body to appreciate being on the floor. I have it easy at home. I got my big whoopee sheepskin. So I might rock my hips, get my low back a little happier. I might turn my head side to side because I'm looking off towards the camera all the time. Okay, and then since we are going to be doing some bridges that bring the weight onto our shoulders a little more, we're going to work on the back of the shoulders some first. So we are just going to lace our fingers together and bring our hands up over our chest. Think about flattening your upper back and the back of your head and neck into the floor. And then we'll just start that cross chest stretch. So I'm going to bend the right elbow and drop it towards the floor, pulling the left arm across. And up. We'll inhale up, exhale to the side. And the next time we come across to the first side, in my case the right side, we're going to stay there and work on that engagement. So first I'm just giving an extra little pull with that right hand to pull the left shoulder up off the floor. And then I'm going to pull back down against that right hand as if I'm trying to lower that left shoulder back down. I'll give it a couple breaths. Let that muscle feel tight and active. And then we want to exhale and soften. And again, give a pull with the right hand and see if you can get a little deeper underneath that shoulder blade. And then we'll relax the arms. I'm just going to wave them back and forth a couple times. And then we'll lift back up. And repeat that on the left side. So I'm going to drop that left elbow. Give a little extra pull to really lift into that right shoulder. And then I'm going to pull back against it, trying to lower that back of that right shoulder towards the floor. One more breath. And then we'll re-engage, pulling with that left arm to stretch up and underneath that right shoulder blade. Okay, we can release that. Just make some small motions. You can unlink your fingers. As I said, I like to aggressively roll my shoulders back into the floor, really pressing on that downward movement. And we'll shake it out. Okay, and then we're just gonna do a couple starting bridges. So I'm gonna walk my feet to the edge of whatever my furniture is and reach my hands down towards my hips, flattening my shoulders into the floor. And we're gonna bring our arms and shoulders up with us. So slow breath in. As we exhale, we're gonna push into our feet, lift our hips, and let our hands come up overhead. And slowly back down. So we're just holding that for the one breath. Inhale down, exhale, push up. And back. And you probably found by having your feet elevated that you're able to roll up even further. So I caution you to try to keep the weight centered on the back of your shoulder blades and not so far up that it's putting too much pressure on your neck. We're going to hold it this time, and I am just rotating the arms all the way from the hands up into the shoulders. And then we are going to slowly, over a few breaths, lower our hips down. We've done this with several exercises. When you feel a place that's very tight, I want you to stay there. Take a new inhale, roll back up a little bit. And as you exhale, see if you can ease past that point of soreness. Feel free to inhale, come back up. Of course, like everything, swaying helps. So if you have a particularly tender spot, hold your body weight there. Shift your hips just a little bit, side to side, to massage across that tender place. And we'll roll down a little more, see what other tender places we find. Again, inhale up past them if you need to. Exhale back into it. We want to reassure our body that that pain is okay and we're taking care of it. Exhales help, swaying helps. And when you're ready, go ahead and lie your body back down on the floor. I'm just going to let my arms fall out to the side and give my arms a little break. And while we're here waiting for things to kind of sink back into place, we'll do a little bit of that pelvic tilt. So as I inhale, I'm arching my back, trying to make space between myself and the floor. As I exhale, I'm pressing into those same muscles we use for bridge to flatten my lower back into the ground. Inhale and arch. Exhale. We're going to take one more inhale, and then we're going to go into our next bridge. So I'm just letting my arms soften along my sides, and on the exhale, I'm going to press up. And then I'm going to reach for my hands underneath my body and pull my shoulders back. Just a little leg cramp here. And I'm pulling my hands towards my heels. I'm pulling my shoulders in and under my body. Big breaths into the front of your body here. Push down into the shoulders, elbows. Feel that open the front of the body a little more. And then we'll release our hands and move them out of the way. And gently bring ourselves back down to the floor. Okay, we do a lot of figure fours. This is one of my favorite places to do that. For that, I'm going to slide my feet back out. Give yourself a little wiggle, maybe point, flex, and roll through the feet and ankles. And then I'm going to start at that lowered leg position and put my right foot on top of my left knee. I'm giving that knee a moment just to open up. Let the thigh fall to the side. And then we're just dragging that bottom heel along the furniture until we get back to that edge. Maybe you're not to that edge. Maybe you need to be somewhere mid-ground to feel a good stretch in that hip. But what's nice here is you can kind of gradually draw those legs in close. It's not quite enough for me. I gotta wiggle. Okay, so at that point, we are gonna think about pointing and flexing, focusing on the flex to pull across that IT band. And then we can relax the foot, hug in behind the thighs and pull both legs in. And we're gonna roll like happy baby. And then we'll come back to center. I'm gonna extend that right leg straight up. Move my left leg down and out of the way. I'm flexing my foot and we're gonna move into a twist that's very much about the thigh. So I'm trying not to let my hips totally turn to that side. I'm trying to keep my right butt cheek won't actually stay down, but I'm trying to keep it from turning too much with me so that you feel that stretch along the outside of the thigh and hip and butt. We're just letting the weight of the leg hang there in the sky. And then to kind of undo that, I'm just going to do a couple big circles outward and in. Okay, and we'll step it out, wiggle it out, and get ready to do the left side. So I'm just going to stack that left foot on the right thigh and let that whole system soften. Okay, and we'll start drawing that right leg in close until you feel that stretch. Guest star. And then we can start to point and flex through the foot and ankle. And we'll let it relax. And then you can draw them in, hug them in, but we're bringing, not right now. Legs to our chest. And when that's released some, we'll rock side to side. Back to center, and bring that right foot back down and slide it out. Bring that left leg straight up, flexing my foot. Your arms come out for balance if you need. And we're just gonna draw it across to the right side of the body. And then release to gravity as much as you can. A nice silhouette of my toes. Last breath in. We'll exhale back to center and bring our legs back down. And we're just going to shift the hips. Okay, one fun thing that we can't always do without a little height boost is, well, and again, be gentle. You might not want to go too far up on the back of your shoulders and neck, but we're going to do kind of an assisted plow. So we're just going to start in our bridge. On the exhale, we'll lift. But what's nice here is generally your hips are a lot higher, so I've turned my palms up, elbows on the floor, and I'm just going to fold my elbows press into whatever part of my thighs, butt, maybe even low back I can reach. So now we have that nice bridge position, but our muscles aren't so tense to hold it. If you want a little more of a challenge, try lifting one leg up. See how far you can draw that leg up. And the other. If you want a super challenge, you could see if you could draw the other leg up. Or over. Easier on your low back if you go back down one leg at a time. And then we'll let our hands slide back down. Bring our hips to the floor. We're going to bring both knees into our chest. On the next exhale, I'll bring my head and shoulders towards my knees. And we'll settle the upper body back on the floor and go into upside down cobbler. So I'm just making that nice diamond, pulling my feet in, flaring my knees out. One more breath here, and then we'll open up into happy baby. A little pressure downward on the knees to flatten the back. And we'll roll and rock. If you want to get further on the outside of the shoulders, use the weight of the leg. So as I roll to the left, I'm just going to extend that left leg out a little. And it'll roll you a little further onto the hip and shoulders. Pull it back in to help you roll back to center. And then back to center. We're going to go into a brief straddle. And take a moment to flex, point, roll. And then I am going to probably go out of frame. Ugh. I didn't want to get up yet. Okay. So that we can do a more normal twist. So I'm just going to keep the right leg hugged in. And you can slide your left leg out long, but I can't. We'll deal with that in a minute. Okay. So then I'm just going to draw that right leg across to the left side and roll onto my left hip. I'll reach up and back out through that right shoulder and arm. And we're just trying to soften into that twist. So you can keep that knee bent or extend that leg out for a little more leverage on the hip. We already did a nice hip twist, so if your spine needs it more, feel free to tuck in. Take one more breath here. Roll that leg back down to the bottom. And come back under my back. Little twist, little wiggle. And then we'll pull that left knee in. And draw it across to the right side of the body. Reaching up. And down and out. Feel free to extend the leg or not. Pull that knee back in. Push into our hands to roll back to center. And then bring the other knee back up bent, and just take a moment to let both knees sway side to side. And then I'll walk my feet and knees out wide. We're going to drop our knee into the center and get that internal rotation. So let's keep up with that sway, but I'm pushing my knee in towards the floor and in towards the center as I move through. When that feels like it's lengthened and softened a little, we'll drop the knee in and hold it. And if you want that little bit extra, push into that foot to lift the front of the hip, lift the butt. And we'll come across, little sways, and then drop into the other side. We just want as long of a line as we can get through the hip to the knee. And then again, push into the foot, lift the butt, open the front. Okay, that's all the motions I'm gonna make, but I will leave the music on for a few more minutes if you would like to stretch out long across the floor or curl up in a little fetal ball or whatever makes your little heart happy. And just take a few moments to push pause, sink down into your breath, let your tension sink down into the floor and away. Maybe take these moments at the end to focus on that inhale, that refilling your cup, that re-energizing for whatever your day might hold. And feel free to remain still. If you need a little wake-up call, think about wiggling across hips and shoulders. Stretch back out through arms and legs and tickle and wiggle through fingers and toes. I always like to roll on the left side when I'm through. Let my spleen have a little bit of a help. My belly chimed in too and let me know I should eat. Anyway, I hope that your holiday was good. And if you needed a little bit of self-care, a little bit of after Christmas recuperation, then I hope that this will serve you well. Have a good day.